It's Wednesday, March 27, 2024. Welcome to the Blessors of Israel Podcast. I'm Matthew Dodd, Executive Director of Blessors of Israel. Well, it only took 171 days for Hamas and its proxies at the UN and in the media to turn the world against Israel. 171 days. Remember, on October 7th of last year, Hamas terrorists murdered 1,200 Israelis, injured thousands of Jews, and kidnapped 253 people. Now on Monday, March 25th, 171 days later, the 14 members of the UN Security Council adopted Resolution 2728. Now, the United States could have and should have vetoed the resolution, but abstained. What does Resolution 2728 declare? The non-binding resolution, quote, demands an immediate ceasefire for the month of Ramadan, respected by all parties, leading to a lasting, sustainable ceasefire, and also demands the immediate and unconditional release of all hostages, as well as ensuring humanitarian access to address their medical and other humanitarian needs, and further demands that the parties comply with their obligations under international law in relation to all persons they detain. First, it's important to note that Hamas is not a member of the UN. Therefore, Hamas is not bound by the dictates of the UN. Second, please notice that Resolution 2728 does not condition the ceasefire upon the release of the hostages. As a result, any motivation for Hamas to negotiate with Israel and to release the hostages has actually been weakened by Resolution 2728. And that's exactly what happened immediately after Resolution 2728 was adopted. You see, Israel and Hamas had been negotiating a hostage deal and a truce, but talks came to an abrupt halt once Resolution 2728 was passed. The next day, the head of Hamas, Ismail Haniyeh, met with Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei in Tehran. Haniyeh celebrated the approval of Resolution 2728, saying this, quote, indicates the unprecedented political isolation experienced by the Israeli occupation. Now, by the way, the Jerusalem Post observed that Haniyeh conveniently, quote, neglected to mention the resolution's demand that his movement immediately and unconditionally release the Israeli hostages it kidnapped during the October 7th massacre. Why? Because Haniyeh knows that Hamas is not bound by any UN resolution, so it doesn't have to release the hostages, especially since the wording of Resolution 2728 does not condition any ceasefire upon the release of the hostages. Haniyeh rightly observed the significance of Resolution 2728 when he added that Israel had, quote, failed to achieve its political and military goals in Gaza, and that we are going through a historical stage and a fateful turning point in the context of the historical context with the Zionist entity in the Battle of Al-Aqsa Flood, which is Hamas's name for the October 7th massacre. During their meeting, the Ayatollah Khamenei complimented, quote, the propaganda and media measures of Hamas and other Palestinian terrorist groups. And Khamenei is correct to compliment Hamas and its proxies. You see, Hamas's global propaganda campaign is working. In fact, the results of their campaign can be seen in the latest Gallup poll. In November of last year, 50% of Americans surveyed approved of Israel's military action in Gaza, while 45% disapproved. Now, in March of 2024, only 36% approve and 55% disapprove. Please keep in mind that this Gallup poll was taken before Resolution 2728 was approved. Imagine what the numbers will look like as Hamas and its proxies ramp up their campaign to demonize Israel, as Israel seeks to defeat Hamas and remove the terrorist threat from its border. Now, last week, I highlighted a recent polling of Palestinians living in Gaza and noted how the Gazans' support for Hamas to continue to rule the Gaza Strip has increased by 14 points to more than 50% since December, with nearly 60% believing the terrorist group will remain in control of the territory. Now, based on what we're seeing right now, there is good reason to believe the Gazans get it right. Truly, we're witnessing a historic shift against Israel on the world stage. But while the nations are aligning against Israel, this too we must see is part of God's plan. You see, God is preparing Israel for the return of Jesus Christ at the end of the Great Tribulation. Zechariah chapter 12 verse 10 declares, quote, "I will pour out on the house of David and on the inhabitants of Jerusalem the spirit of grace and of supplication, so that they will look on me, whom they have pierced, and they will mourn for him as one mourns for an only son, and they will weep bitterly over him, like the bitter weeping over a firstborn." On that day, God's grace will be poured out on Israel as they call upon the name of the Lord and are saved. Will you please join me in praying for Israel and for the nations, that all will hear the good news and place their faith in Jesus Christ for the forgiveness of their sins and the gift of eternal life? You see, this is why Jesus came, to seek and to save the lost, Luke 19, verse 10. May this Good Friday and Resurrection Sunday bring about a world revival, because like never before, our world needs Jesus Christ. To receive the latest curated news concerning Israel with biblical commentary, please visit our website at www.blessors.org. That's Blessors with an ORS.org. Please subscribe to our channel on this platform and make sure you like this podcast. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Getter. We also appreciate your prayers and ongoing financial support as we build this new, important ministry. Thanks again for joining me. Remember, those who bless Israel will be blessed. Shalom, shalom.